I definitely love getting the respect from people that maybe wouldn't have taken me seriously if I wasn't in this position. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
There was also the same reason why when I was modeling, I would love telling people that I was in college because I just loved like throwing them a curveball.
Yeah.
So
I'm smart too.
Right, yeah. So when people sit down in my chair, they might think like, oh, this is gonna be like an easy interview. But at the end of the day, like, we're gonna do the interview the way it's gonna be done. It's not just because I look this way, you're gonna get a bunch of softball, fluffy questions. That's not, this type of outlet is not what people want. Millennials, we want the truth. We don't want a bunch of fluff.
No.
Just like we don't want to watch a commercial. Like we don't care.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because it is nice to be respected, especially in this role. I still have people that will make a comment or that will ask me out on a date afterwards via a different medium, sliding into the DMs. Although it doesn't happen as much as it's really small percentage, because I do think people realize that's a barrier. They're taking a risk even just trying to cross. So it is nice to like have interviewed some of like Fortune 500 CEOs and politicians, and I don't know, for me it feels like something I never thought I'd be doing, but I do think like women need to be taken seriously regardless of what they look like, regardless of how feminine they're in. Like just because I'm not wearing a pantsuit doesn't mean I can't have a serious interview with someone. And I know we've talked about this because you come from sports, and being a woman in sports is a whole nother thing, because that's an industry that's still very, male-centric, of course, and it probably will always be.
Yes.
So same with the business world. They're trying to do better. We try and focus a lot on, I love covering female CEOs and female entrepreneurs and female-founded companies, but of course it's not always the case. It's not the whole show's is dedicated to that.
You guys did do an entire day dedicated to women, though, which I thought was incredible.
That was so fun.
Was that?
That was so fun. We're going to do it again, too. So we did 8 hours live, 50 women from top companies. I mean, Hulu, Goop, all of them. And we had women co-hosts, because at Cheddar, we have about four girls, 4 guys anchoring. So we brought in a bunch of people that had never really worked with us before, and were like, come co-host with us. And it was so much fun. The feedback we got from people was insane. They were like, can we do this every month?
Wow.
And I mean, we want to do it. It is hard to find 50 female guests a day.
Yeah.
Just 50 guests a day is hard in general, but I hope we're going to do more of that, because I felt so empowered and honored to be part of that. And I purposely wore hot pink that day.
Love
because it's I felt like I could celebrate my femininity even more than I already do, because it's why should I not wear hot pink on a day celebrating women?
Right.
I don't know. It shouldn't be oh, you're wearing pink, you're super girly. I don't know.
It's just this whole story that society creates about it. And I think you're explaining it well in terms of trying to break that down. And I don't have to be in a pantsuit just to have a real conversation. I can be feminine and also be smart and brilliant and thoughtful.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that's an era we're shifting into, which is so nice, especially as we see more of the female CEOs. But it is, I've even done interviews where behind the scenes, they're it's as a female CEO, it's a hard time for them to get dressed. They have specific stylists, because they don't want to have to think about how people are perceiving them. It's put me in something where I can feel feminine, but I can also feel powerful. Bridge the gap. I don't want to think about it because I have other things I need to be thinking about. And I think I think that's cool, but it's also even weird that we have to think about that, right?
Yeah, because what guy thinks about that?
Right, we need to think about what people are going to take us seriously in, but we still want to celebrate our femininity.
Yeah, that's been a struggle I've had. And that was part of the issue for me working in sports, is I just couldn't find that happy medium. I chopped all my hair off because your hair looks so cute. I love it.
Thanks.
But I chopped it off because I was like, oh, maybe people will take me more seriously because I'm not fiddling with my hair. And I started wearing longer dresses.
Did it work,
I'm like,
though? I kind of think maybe people are taking me more seriously.
I think in ways it did, but I think it worked because I took myself more seriously and I respected myself, and I realized that I had more value than I was really giving myself credit for.
Yeah.
I was focusing on being the pretty girl on TV, that the guys only wanted to talk to me because they thought I was attractive. When in reality, once I started treating myself with respect, everyone else responded in the same way. And I was like, oh, what a concept. I
know,
like
right?
myself, respect myself, and everyone else will too.
But it sounds simple, but it's not.
No.
It's hard for us to do. And speaking of cutting your hair, like I wear glasses on camera a lot of times, and a lot of it's just because you're in bright lights all day reading screens, like you need it for your eyes. But a lot of times I wear it when I'm on the stock exchange or when I'm at a conference. And when I first started wearing them, it was literally because I thought people weren't going to take some blonde, bombshell girl seriously on the floor of the stock exchange or like CES, talking with Alibaba CEOs. And then, of course, granted, they're real glasses, so I needed them.
Yeah.
But then I realized, the only one that needs to believe in myself is me. So now I don't wear them as like a mask of confidence, but it's more of, but it's weird that I did in the beginning.
But I think that's part of the process you have to go through as a young woman, just to mentally get over those hurdles and to understand that you have more to bring to the table. And I think that just so much of your 20s is people telling you that you don't, and that you get attention because you're pretty, and so you fall into that trap. And then you realize, well, that can't be what life is about.
Yeah, and that was one of the things why not only was I kind of over modeling from the other reasons we talked about, but especially in acting is, I acted for a few years, did a handful of movies, TV shows, nothing like, I wasn't like some well-known actor, but, I was literally getting propositioned by executive producers to, be my girlfriend or go out to dinner with me, and I'll put you as opposite my lead man in this movie. And it was just like, it was so heartbreaking to me realizing that that's how, and obviously there's a big reckoning going on, but to feel like that's how, especially that industry, when there's a lot of beautiful women in it, that's how the industry works. And realizing that there was a lot of women I looked up to, and that's how they got to where they were. And that really, really bothered me. It was that mixed with I had auditioned for another role, and I didn't get it, and I was really bummed. And then I found out that a girl I knew got it, and that she was dating the lead now. And between those two things, I was like, this industry's dirty, and I don't want to play this game. But it's also like, I knew I could play that game and win.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, you can win, but do you want that victory?
It was, my whole thing was, could I lay my head on the pillow at night and feel good about who I was? And the answer would always be no. And then I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, like because at the end, when you do that, you're trying to prove things to other people, not to yourself. You're trying to prove things to your family, people that said you wouldn't amount to anything, your hometown, whatever. Those are the people that I think have to do that or need to do that. But they're not trying to prove anything to themselves. And you're right, like, at the end of the day, it's just, do you like who you are? And is that going to bring you happiness? No. So
nothing is worth giving up your integrity and your self-esteem. And I don't think that's something we learn as young women necessarily. I think even if your parents instill that in you, you're around kids so much, and it's hard to really let that sink in.
Yeah, even if you have the most amazing parents, you get out there in the world as a young woman, regardless of what you look like, you're automatically taught as soon as you're out there that you're valued based on your appearance and your body, and that's going to happen to it happens to every woman in every industry. So it doesn't even matter like if you have ironclad love around your heart from your parents that have valued you in other ways. You're going to realize like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing. Right. I didn't know I could have doors open for me because of this. And it's a power. And then there's people that run with that power. And being a woman is very powerful, but it's like, it's finding that balance of what is acceptable and like what's too far, because that power is addicting. It is. Whatever form it comes in. Yeah. So if your power comes from your beauty, you're going to want to feel that.
Right. How do you navigate that now, being on television and being so visible?
I think it's a bit of an afterthought, if that makes sense, because I have someone that can give me clothes and then does my hair and makeup. I know that I look fine, Yeah. I think part of the reason you don't have to like think too much about how you look is freeing. It's like almost like, maybe that sounds a little like braggy, like I have my stuff done. It's not about that. It's that I don't really have to focus on it, which is, for once, a relief.
Right.
Like when I'm on the weekends, I can't even dress myself.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do my hair at all. I was just on vacation and I literally had to have my girlfriend do my hair because I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. And
someone else does it.
Yeah, and I know it sounded terrible, but it's actually so freeing to not have to think about it all the time, and I can really focus on my job. And I don't really, like, I've had makeup smeared on my face and I'm like, go to my producer, why didn't you tell me that? And it's like, because I'm not looking in the mirror, so I don't even really notice. So it's freeing to just know that it's something I can fall back on. It's there. It's something I've always had, but I just don't have to put an emphasis on it anymore like I used to, because now I'm leading with my heart and my brain more than just the shell. It's like, and just to reiterate, it's like communicating with your body versus communicating with your heart and your brain. And as an athlete, you were communicating with your body, you know, a lot. And you still do in this industry, but not really. You're just kind of, yeah. So I think it's nice to, obviously I love playing dress up and it's nice having beautiful hair and makeup, but you know, you just want to run home and wash it off at times.
As soon as you can.
After it's been caked on for 12 hours. It's like, really not glamorous at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice because I can just focus on doing my job. And I do feel that people still underestimate me, and I do feel people come in and think, or maybe they don't make a judgment. Maybe they just accept it. And maybe it's something I'm still dealing with because I've always felt like I have to prove myself. Mm-hmm. I'm not just X, Y, and Z. Like, I have other things to bring to the table. So it might just be my own thing that I'm trying to always prove to myself that that I'm good at things that aren't just AKA looking at you.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I lost track of your question.
That's okay. Are you fearful of aging?
Oh, that's interesting. I do truly feel like I've gotten better with age.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, I do. I'm like fine wine. So that's what I tell myself. Also, we have tools now. Like,
right? All the lasers available.
We have lasers, we have facials, we have other things we shall not mention. Yeah. There's just so much other as far as advancements in medical technology and cosmetics.
We know more about food and what you're eating and drinking.
Education, sunscreen, face massage, acupuncture. I mean, there's so many things we know, and I've, kind of gotten into that stuff at a very early age. So I actually think I look better now than I did when I was younger. Mm-hmm. But I also just think I'm so much more confident, and confidence really is what makes someone attractive. When I feel the most beautiful, it's because I'm confident. Mm-hmm. And it's like a feeling from all the way inside. It's not just like, oh, my eyeshadow is beautiful. It's like you're radiating beauty, and it's from confidence. And that usually comes from accomplishments now. Like, I just did an interview in front of 500 people on stage. I'm on top of the world. That was my last moment where I was on top of the world. I have another one in 2 days, by the way, except for it's in front of like 5,000 people, so we'll see how that goes.